My dear Mukunda Goswami Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. It is a great pleasure and privilege for me to address you on your 80th birthday. You were one of Srila Prabhupada's first supporters in New York and found him the premises for his first center at 26th Avenue in what had been the Matchless Gifts Shop, a most appropriate name. I cherished reading your book, Miracle on 2nd Avenue. Hare Krishna arrives in New York, San Francisco, and London, 1966 to 1969, from the quote, troubled, end quote, beginning to the poignant end when Srila Prabhupada departed. You have made many significant contributions to Srila Prabhupada's mission and were instrumental in cultivating George Harrison and in developing the contemporary Vedic library series of books with Chant and Be Happy, The Power of Mantra Meditation, Coming Back, The Science of Reincarnation, and Divine Nature, a spiritual perspective on the environmental crisis. Very early, you encouraged me to write the history of Srila Prabhupada in Juhu, and you gave me suggestions along the way. And finally, last year, the book was published. I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu story. You further encouraged me by writing, quote, whenever that fateful day arrives, when your book is printed and I have it in my possession, I assure you that I'll read it from cover to cover. Thank you for that. In the course of my writing, you provided me information about how you handled the publicity for the temple's grand opening, which you did masterfully, as stated in the book. Quote, devotees came for the opening from all over the world. Rameshwar, as the trustee for North American BBT, based in Los Angeles, gave Mukunda $3,000 in free rein to promote the event. Mukunda recalled, so, using the money he gave me, I took a flight from Los Angeles to New York, and I went to a street-side copy shop on 6th Avenue and made printouts of all the slides I had of the Juhu Temple, some of which were truly magnificent. Then I took an Air India flight to New Delhi and got a list of all the foreign media located there. My first stop was the Los Angeles Times. I arrived about 15 minutes later than my appointed time. The woman who was the bureau chief was wearing tennis shoes and was angry that I was late because she said that I would make her late for her tennis match. So I left her the printouts of the Juhu Temple and moved on. At the office of the New York Times, the bureau chief was very friendly and had a copy of the Macmillan edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is on his bookshelf. I then visited a few more people, including some Australian media and the ABC television bureau chiefs, and I left printouts of the Juhu Temple with them. A few days later, I was visited by a news representative named Ramanujan. He said that he thought the Juhu Temple opening would make a good story for Newsweek, and he also wanted to publish another article titled, Hare Krishna is Here to Stay. He was very favorable. A photographer named Jahangir Gazdar was eager to take photographs of the events at the temple. In Bombay, working with Gopal Krishna and others, I met many people eager to promote the event, and the Indian Express published a 2-page article with the headline stating that A.C. Bhaktivedanta was the greatest ambassador of Indian culture to the world. Most of the people I visited in Delhi actually came for the opening. From the New York Times, Australian Television, ABC News, and others. Barry came from Newsweek, flew in from Hong Kong. Most of them stayed at the nearby Holiday Inn. Apparently, their bosses thought that the event was important enough to justify their flying to Juhu. We gave Mukunda a room in the guest house for the media people to keep their cameras and other gear, and assisted by Abhinanda, he organized gift packets for them. And your concluding reflections were touching and encouraging. Mukunda remembered, after the grand opening, I took a stroll down Juhu Road, thinking that Srila Prabhupada would be very pleased. I felt that somehow or other, even though he was no longer physically present, the movement was going on. On this occasion, I pray that you, and we together, will have many long and healthy years in service to Srila Prabhupada and his divine mission, and that thereafter we will be reunited with Srila Prabhupada and with each other in what he called the ISKCON in the spiritual sky. Hare Krishna. May this find you well in all respects, your eternal grateful servant. Hare Krishna.